Do you wait for everything to be perfect and lined up straight before you make a choice? How hard are you trying to get everything in your life right? What if jumping in and getting messy is one of the ways to find out what works for you? Discover how being willing to mess up can create the phenomenal life you truly desire. Get ready to quit judging and start embracing all of your messy adventures. Now, here's your host, self-declared messy living expert, Petrina Fava.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm laughing that I call myself a self-declared messy living expert. I think that's funny. So welcome to Messy Adventures in Living. Happy Monday. We have a pretty great show lined up, I think, of course, as always. I'm going to just talk a little bit about me because I think I maybe have not been introducing myself enough to you guys. So thanks for joining us. I'm Petrina, your host of Messy Adventures in Living. I am a girl who likes to get messy and leave the cleaning up to everyone else. There you go. There you have it. I do a lot of really different things in my life. And sometimes I find it hard to talk about what it is I do because I do a whole bunch of different things. But I think that's what makes me me, is that I really like to try different things and create a bunch of different stuff, and I get bored really easily doing the same thing over and over again. So right now, some of the things that I'm doing in my life are I work as a registered nurse at Toronto's Hospital for Sick Children. I've been doing that for about 18 years. I really enjoy working with kids, and I really enjoy working with bodies. And my love of kids and bodies has led me to some other things. So about 12 years ago, I became a mom for the first time. I have 3 great kids. They're 11 and a half, almost 9 and 5. And about 6 years ago, I was introduced to the tools of access consciousness and started to really discover that I loved working with bodies and putting my hands on bodies and creating change in bodies. And so I'm an access consciousness bars facilitator, body process facilitator, and also a Right Body for You intro facilitator. So I like to have fun with bodies and kids, and I love to facilitate access classes because I think it's really exciting to show people that they can change stuff in their world. And so recently I became a published author. I have a chapter in a great book called Creations, Conscious Fertility, Pregnancy, and Birth. And that I have had the honor of writing with a bunch of other women. And now I am also a radio show host where I get to talk for an hour, which is awesome because I love talking. So there you go. That's me really quick. So today, our show is called Knowing Your Worth and Asking for It. We have a very special guest on with us today. Her name is Christine McIver. Probably you know her. She is also a radio show host on A to Zen FM, and she is with us now, I believe. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Petrina.
Hi.
The party, but I made it.
You made it. So I'm going to introduce you, and then I will introduce the show. So, Christine McIver. She is an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, Possibilities Coach, Inspirational Speaker, Life Coach, Radio Show Host, Intuitive Coach, Spiritual Entrepreneur, who is driven to inspire you to make choices that will bring you to your true heart's desires. Christine lives her life out loud and is a natural cheerleader who believes in the ability of others to change their lives quickly and easily. She entices clients to show up more in their life, their business, and their relationships more than they ever have before, inviting them to make all that they once knew was possible. Whatever it is, you can be living and loving your dream with ease. Throughout the many choices she has made in her own life, Christine knows today that all of those choices, good, bad, or otherwise, now serve her and her audience. I met Christine a few years ago at a bars class that I was teaching, and she showed up, and I remember that I thought she was hilarious, and loud. So that's why when I saw Christine lives her life out loud, I was like, yeah, she sure does. And I love it. So today we are talking about knowing your worth and asking for it. So do you ever feel guilty asking to be paid for your services or your products? How do you respond to friends or family who ask for free or discounted services? What happens when you discount your fee and are not paid what you know you and your product or service is worth? Are you more or less excited when delivering that service or product? Do you give it your all? What happens to your creations as you begin to become resentful of having to put in many hours only to be paid a fraction of what you would have asked for? What if asking for the amount of money that would be fun to be paid is actually the greatest contribution, not only to honoring yourself, but also to the client's ability to truly receive the gift your creation is? So let's destroy all the beliefs that are holding our creations hostage and learn how to ask what we know we are worth. Sound like fun, Christine?
It does.
Just
it's a topic that I love to talk about.
I know. We've had a few conversations about this topic, which is why I think I wanted to have you on the show. Welcome to Messy Adventures in Living. It's your first appearance on my show.
It is. I'm bowing right now.
I'm very excited to have you on.
Thank you. I'm glad that you're here on the channel. It's so much fun to have you on. Just kind of like bleh everything all over the table and see what we can come up with. It's fun.
Who, me? But that's messy.
I know. I love you being messy.
I know I do too now. I didn't used to, but I do now.
Okay. So do you value your messiness now?
Ooh, do I value it? I embrace it and I go with it and I let it contribute to me in any way it can. And it contributes in lots of ways. Yeah. It's way more fun than judging it.
No kidding.
Although sometimes I still do that. But anyways.
I digress.
Squirrel. Let's talk about knowing your worth.
Yeah, it's a really it's a touchy subject.
It is.
And can you just perceive, okay, wow. Okay, how distracted did you and I just get? So how much are we picking up on everybody else going, I don't want to look at that?
Right.
Right? So everywhere anyone is being distracted and thinking that they can't possibly look at this because then they're going to have to admit that they suck at this. Can we just try and ungrade all of that?
Yes.
Best Buck Pot, All Night Shorts, Boys and Beyond. It's a subject that I've been thinking about for years and years and years. And this morning I was thinking, Petrina, what is it that brings somebody to evaluate their value? What pops when I say that to you?
Say it again.
What brings someone to evaluate their value? Like, what do you use to measure your value, Petrina?
Yeah, what came up for me was someone else's judgment. So, like, I create something, I love it, I think it's amazing, and then I go and put it out there, and someone goes, meh.
Right.
And then I go, oh.
So
maybe
your
it's not
value,
as awesome as I thought.
Your value is based on somebody else's point of view.
Yeah.
And it's from the aspect of what you're creating that you're having the evaluation done.
Mm-hmm.
Look here. A baby, are they valuable?
Are they valuable?
Right. Would you say a baby is valuable? Like, imagine a newborn. I know you're going to be meeting your niece soon. Yeah. And when you're holding her in your arms, is she going to be valuable to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on what your definition of valuable is. Now I think I can look at it in a different way. It's like I can hold a baby and know what the contribution, what they contribute to me. And is that the same as value? It's not really for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but like contribution.
So do they have worth?
Mm-hmm.
Does a baby have worth? Is it something that you would hold precious?
Okay, there. Hold precious.
So you've got a charge on the word
yes,
worth.
On the word worth and value.
So everywhere you're judging yourself regarding worth. Can we just try and create all that?
Yes.
Right. So if you don't, Petrina and I know each other quite well. When she does that, she's basically telling me, shut up, Christine.
No. Keep going.
Well, it's so good. Well, a baby doesn't do anything. Not in this context of this reality, right? A baby doesn't do anything. And yet a baby has value, worth, is precious. Correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So if a baby doesn't do anything, why are we constantly basing our value on what we do?
Right.
Not what we be.
What we be, exactly. Which is, I think for me, which is where the word contribution feels so different for me than value and worth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't understand what the word contribution means.
I guess, yeah. I mean, when you look at contribution, then you can look at what am I receiving from this? What does it offer me? How does it make my life greater? Mm-hmm. Right? And so when I look at holding a baby, if I think about holding my niece who's coming soon from Korea to live with us, like, does that contribute to me? Oh my God, of course. Just having a baby in my arms contributes to me. I know that. Contributes to my body, changes my body, makes my body greater. Mm-hmm.
So Petrina, it's just, we're in the back end of the site and we're in the chat room and I'm just looking at the amazing people in there. They're contributing right now to a conversation. Mm-hmm. And it's not, they don't have these big questions or anything like that. Who they be contributes to us.
Right.
So what would it take for all of us to begin to look at the contribution we be, the value that we be by just showing up in the world?
Yes.
What I find is when we start there, Petrina, then as a business owner, as someone who is, whether it's something you do part-time or something you do full-time, then you begin to look at your creations in a very different way. You've got a very different energy on them, and you're not vetting them from somebody else's point of view. You're beginning with you. Mm-hmm. When you go out and you look at somebody else, like, okay, you and I both run the bars, right? The Access Consciousness bars. We both run the bars. When you first started your bars practice, did you go out and look at what everybody else was charging to decide what you were going to charge?
A little bit, yes.
And so did I. And I bet you every single solitary other person did, right? Yeah. And whether you're a massage therapist or you're, you do hair, whatever it is that you do, we often, the very first step is go see what the competition is doing. Right?
Right.
So how much is this valuing is based on quote-unquote competition? And you and I both know, like we know that competition is not real at all. Mm-hmm. We know who's going to be, who you're going to light up for. They're going to come to you. Who I'm going to light for. They're going to come to me. And it's the choice of the person desiring the service or the product. It's not based on the better price.
Mm-hmm. Better
and
price.
You realize your price based on somebody else's price because there'll always be somebody that will be lower than you.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Okay, we're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back and talk more about that. So hang on to that thought. So you are listening to Messy Adventures in Living on A2Zen.fm with myself, Petrina Fava, and my guest, Christine McIver. We're talking about knowing your worth and asking for it today. Join us again in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on a2zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more Messy Adventures.
Welcome back to Messy Adventures in Living. I'm your host, Petrina Fava, and my guest today is Christine McIver. We are talking about knowing your worth and asking for it. So we would love it if you would join us, by the way. So if you have a question or a comment and you'd like to call in, please do so. I love talking to people, and so does Christine. If you'd like to, just a guess, if you'd like to join us in the chat room, you can do that as well, or and play with us there. So in the chat room, we had a question from Eleanor. Where did it change? Where did it all change from being to doing? So we were talking about the difference between worth and what you be and what that's worth, and then what you do and what that's worth. So I just looked up the definition of worth on the etymology dictionary online. So this is a dictionary that takes us way back into the, I can't remember, a long time ago, that looks at etymology looks at the original meaning of words. And so what I saw there is that worth is defined there as significant, valuable, appreciated, deserving, meriting, honorable, noble, of high rank. And then, some interesting words there, right? With just a little bit of energy on them. And then I looked like in a modern day dictionary, and it said good or important enough to justify. Oh. Right?
Okay, everything that is.
Yes.
Everywhere your skin is crawling and you want to throw up. And we just trying to create all of that.
Yes.
I'm good at puck pot online shorts for man.
Holy macaroni. Right? So good or important enough to justify. Wow.
You see, Petrina, that's everything that I was saying. It's based on other people's points of view.
Right. Even the appreciated, right?
Yeah.
Like appreciated by someone else when I saw that, right? That's what I got.
So how can you or I satisfy 7 billion people based on our, like, if we just go for our pricing of a product or a service? How can we do that?
Right. Right. And is it about satisfying, and is it really about that? One of the things that I really love is the point of view of access consciousness. So just quickly, for those of you who don't know, Rioa in the chat room. Okay, I'm just going to say it. My mind went dirty, she says, and actually so did mine when we said, how can we satisfy 7 million people on the planet? That's
billion.
Okay. 7 billion. And everything that brings up now. So access consciousness is this really cool system that shows you how to ask questions and empowers you to know what you know. And one of the tools that we use is something called the clearing statement, which is a collection of words you've heard us say: right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you want to look up what all those things mean, you can find it at www.theclearingstatement.com. It's basically a way to just blast a whole bunch of energy that comes up when you talk about a topic and get rid of the points of view and destroy all of it so that you can choose something different.
Cool.
So I forgot. I was going to say something and I forgot.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say that I really love when I heard from Access Consciousness, when you when you discount your services. So if someone comes to you and says, I don't have money, I can't pay for this, can you give it to me for free? What an unkindness it can be to give your services away. And I mean, not always, because you have to ask questions, but it can actually be because what you're doing is that you're validating their point of view that they don't have money, and you're validating the idea that they're coming from this place of lack. And that actually when you say, no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, wow. No, this is my price. How can you create the money? It's different. It's like saying to them, hey, I know that you can go out there and create the money, so go. I'm not buying into your bullshit lack. I absolutely love that so much. You want to go with that a little bit?
Yeah. Oh, my God. I've got 1,000 things in my head. I want to tell a really, really fast story that will add to this, Petrina. Yeah. There was an individual that when I first started out in my business and got on social media promoting, I was somebody that I was watching was promoting and her services. And she was doing something that at the time I was valuing at $75. She was valuing it at $25. Mm-hmm. It really tweaked me. I was like, I'm looking at this going, what are you doing? You've invested a lot of time and money into what you've done, and you're giving it to somebody $25. And I had a number of different people that I was speaking to said, I would really do that, but that's not going to pay my bills. Right. And I thought about, the woman that says, she goes home, maybe she says to her husband or her family, I really want to do this. This is really calling to me, like, oh my God, it's on my mind all the time. And her husband looks at her and says, well, honey, I know that that's what you would like, but we have a mortgage and we have 3 kids to feed, and that's not going to do it. You cannot quit your job to do that when it's not going to make enough money, right? So what happens to the thousands of millions of entrepreneurs out there that have this capacity to do something, to contribute in the world, but because people keep undervaluing it, they can't choose it. Now, they could choose it and choose something different, yes, but initially, you know what I'm saying? They can't choose it. And what we're doing when we're continuously looking out, and I did not, FYI, lower my prices based on what her choice was. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to be doing that for such a less than price. It feels like it's got a begging energy to it.
Mhm.
Right? Like you're begging for somebody to pay attention to you. For people to choose you. I'm sorry. I don't want to go anywhere and buy anything when somebody's begging me.
Right.
Because it makes you question, like, how good is that product?
Mhm.
Is that service, right? Whenever you are, and this is, of course, from Gary Douglas, whatever value you put on something, that is how much that person can actually receive.
Yes.
So if you are valuing your service for $25, they can receive $25 worth. If you're valuing it at $75, they can receive $75 worth. And can you get the energy of when you are valuing something more, how you will show up?
Yeah, totally. Several years ago I learned to teach baby massage, and I loved it. And like I said, like I really love bodies and I really love kids, and I saw that it was so awesome, and I saw how much it could contribute to the babies and to the parents and to the families. And so I went and started teaching these classes, and I did what we were talking about. I looked up what everyone else was charging, and I saw that they were charging such a small amount of money. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess, like maybe I'll start there and then, go higher. And it felt really contracted, and I noticed, like, as I went on and on, I was enjoying it less. And actually what cinched it for me was that I did one of those Groupon things where you
Yes.
offer your service for like $2 or something completely ridiculous like that. And I think it was like I think it was a free class. They like coerced me into like offering it for free. And then I saw that when I did that, I barely got anybody anyways. And then B, the people that came to my class were so not interested in what I had to offer. So here I am. I'm a pediatric nurse. I'm so excited about offering this. I know that this stuff is amazing. And people came to my class and they were distracted. They were not connecting with their baby. They were chit-chatting amongst themselves in the middle of the class. And I was like, wow, exactly what you just said. Like, people will receive, whatever they like. It's almost like you get what you pay for, but it's on an energetic level, right? And I saw that, and I saw that people were totally not interested, and I don't know why they came. It was like, oh, it's something free here, let me just show up.
Oh, this would be fun.
Right, and I was like, no way, I'm sorry, like, I'm not doing that again.
No, sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry, exactly.
We have
Go
ahead. We have a great question.
Yes.
I just received. Carol says, I thought I was steady to my worth, but when people don't choose it, I shrink back, or worse, think I'm thinking too highly of myself.
Oh, wow, yeah.
What is that, and what do I do with it? I know it's a lie. It's true. That is, how many of us are there or have been there at one time, right? When someone doesn't choose us, we go, well, what's wrong with me?
Right. I've asked for too much.
What do I need to do? What's everybody else doing? Well, that person over there is busy. What are they doing? Well, the person that was charging $25 that I was talking about earlier, she had people on Facebook going crazy for that discounted service. And I was like, I would rather have 1/10 of the people choose me and I show up for my worth than for me to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, giving it away for free. Right. And basically it was the energy of giving it away for free. What looking outside of ourselves for what really is valuable, but we were actually saying, who would love this juicy, amazing service that I have to offer that is so valuable, it does cost more.
Right.
It costs more because it is amazing. The people that show up here, just for instance, on the radio station, Petrina, I don't know how many people know this, but as a radio show host, you pay for your show, right? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of free radio shows out there. And again, You can go find them and you can listen to them. The quality of the product is not what it is on a station where you're investing in what you're providing, right? And you as a host and all of us as hosts, we show up. We pay attention to the professionalism of it. We are on time. We don't slough it off as unimportant because we do value it and we are investing in it. So how much of your product or your service are you not investing in by actually really acknowledging the worth that it is to you? Looking for who's going to value it and just invited those that desire that value in, how many more people will show up? But we step up with an amazing product, and then when somebody doesn't choose it or an amazing doesn't choose it, we instantaneously start devaluing it instead of going and taking it to the next corner.
Right.
What if you just changed corners?
Exactly, because you know what I realized too is that there are people who actually are looking for the higher priced product. So people, like I'll go with my baby massage example. Like I had clients who wanted a really great person to show them how to massage their babies because, the babies were crying all the time, they were not sleeping, and they were like, please, I need someone who really knows what they're doing to help me. And those people came and they were willing to pay anything I was asking. So, and then that's when I started to realize, there are people who are willing to pay and who are looking for not the cookie cutter $20 class that you can get at the City of Toronto that some teenager has learned, right? They're like, oh, you're a pediatric nurse, you've been doing this for this many years, like, you know about bodies, and sure, I'll pay more for that. So there are people who are more than willing to pay a higher price for the service and who are, in fact, actually looking for that higher price. It's funny that we kind of don't look at that. We kind of choose not to look at those people who are willing to pay whatever it takes. And we look at all the people we're going to lose, which is actually a question that was posted on our Facebook page, which is, what if asking for that, meaning like everything that you know you're worth, leads to no clients? Do you want to go?
Well, there's definitely a lot of things to look at here. I really do know that it begins with you. If you are devaluing you and what you bring into the world and what you're presenting it doesn't damn well matter what price you put on it, Petrina, because everybody's going to smell it.
Absolutely. It's so true, actually. Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Guys, we've got a smarter clientele out there in the world today. They are very, very aware. Even if they don't use these words that we use in Access, they can smell a lie.
Right, or desperation.
So I have seen people that have way overpriced their product saying, well, I really value myself, so therefore I'm going to price it at this. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. You don't feel that way about yourself. I'm not choosing it because of that.
Right.
And then there will be people you can just, like, desperation is dripping off of them because they're valuing it so low. Or they're saying it's free. It's free. It's free. Get the energy of free. It's like a child jumping up and down. Hello, I'm over here. Pick me.
Yeah.
It's like, would you just go away? You're annoying.
And on that note, we are going to go to break. So, you are listening to Messy Adventures in Living. We are talking about knowing your worth and asking for it. So we're going to talk more about that when we come back. Stay tuned.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on a2zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more messy adventures.
Hey, welcome back to Messy Adventures in Living. I'm your host, Petrina Fava. We are talking about knowing your worth and asking for it with our guest, Christine McIver, today. So we, in the chat room, just as we went to break, we were talking about the energy behind asking for a lower price and the desperation that's there. And somewhere up in the chat room, somebody mentioned something about bargain basement mentality, and how many people are functioning from, bargain basement, getting the best bargain. And so you were just Christine said, do you and your offerings belong in the basement? Oh, no, they don't, right? Like mine don't. They belong out in the world for everyone to see. So where do you and your services and products desire to be showcased? In a basement or in a penthouse on a street corner? Or are they the main attraction? I love that. That's good. So let's talk about like how we can change the shit, because we've been talking about all this that.
I love this topic so much. In fact, I'm looking at possibly offering something in the new year to really dive deep with people on it. So stay tuned for that. But the something that you said at the very, very beginning, and I think it was in the description right up, what would be fun to be paid for?
Yes. And
I the very first time I heard that, probably not just the first time, but many hear that beyond about that. Mm-hmm. I didn't get what it meant. And I think that there are still a lot of people out there that go, what? It doesn't make any sense. Or what do you mean, like, fun to be, like, charge $1,000 for something I charge $50 for now? Like, what? Because we still have these points of view. But what if we were to begin, like, everything has energy, Petrina. Mm-hmm. So what if we were to begin to talk to, and this is where you start to change it. You come out of your point of view and out of other people's points of view, and you start to speak to your services. You start to speak to your products. They have an energy, and they will communicate with you. And even if this is weird, play with it. Like, even if you've never done this before, I challenge you to play with it. So if you were to talk to your service and you were to say, hey, what would be fun? What would you like me to charge for you? Mm-hmm. And I do this really wacky thing where Can I do it with you, Petrina, right now? We can show people how I do it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So choose one of the services or products that you offer in the world.
Okay.
Which,
can you tell you? My baby massage classes. It seems to be.
Okay, your baby massage classes. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So, and I don't want to know what you're charging today. Okay, we're not going to put that out there. Okay, so first of all, let's ask. Okay, so hi, baby massage classes. Hello. Hi. Okay, there it is. Okay, I got the energy of it. Mm-hmm. All right. So, what would be fun for you to receive for this amazing service? So, we're going to play extremes. So, $10?
No.
$1,000? $50?
$50 is the number that came into my head when you asked the question, actually.
Okay. We're going to keep playing with it.
Yeah.
So $50 got a little lighter. Did you feel that?
Yes.
Did you perceive that? $500
actually was kind of giddy when you said $1,000.
It was giddy, but there was still a heavy energy.
There was some weirdness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't ignore that, even when you're laughing. Okay,
right.
So $75. $300. It's getting lighter.
I know, it is.
$100.
Not quite.
$200. No. $80. $150. $90. $70.
No, I like $150.
$150.
Cool.
How much fun is that? And how easy is that?
It's fun. Yeah, $150 is fun.
Okay, so truth. Petrina's baby massage classes, would you like to receive $150 for what you are contributing? Super light.
Yeah.
Now, if you start to go into a beyond around that, because maybe you're somebody that was charging, $25, what if you were to say, okay, now will you please show me who desires this class? Will you please contribute to attracting in the individuals that are desiring, that are looking for this class? If you're somebody you were charging $25, $50, and now you're charging $150, and this is in the beginning, guys. This is what I did. Like, okay, cool. So I only need 1 out of 3 people now. I don't need the same amount of people. And that individual will get my attention. If I have one person show up for $150 as opposed to 3 who start gabbing,
right?
How much more juicy contribute that person receive? And when they walk away with this bucket full of amazing contribution, do you think they'll talk about your service to someone else?
Mm-hmm.
And how much more, Petrina, will you that class? How much more will you appreciate what you've contributed? And will you leave feeling completely satisfied, like, oh, I showed up and they totally received it and we had so much fun? And can you feel your service being?
Yeah, and you know what? It's really interesting because a lot of times at certain classes, I did leave feeling that way, even though I wasn't charging $150, because I knew the contribution that I was being, and I got excited about it, and I loved it. And there was always this underlying, like, oh, but I just wasted, like, my 3 hours of my day. It was really weird. And also, like, I noticed that I started taking things away from my service. So at first I would offer, like, the class plus the oil plus all the handouts. And then I was like, well, I'm not willing to increase my price, so let me take away the handouts so that I'm not spending money on printing. And maybe let me take away this. And so I was still showing up, but I was taking away things rather than, if someone's paying me $150, I am showing up with all the bells and whistles. You're going to get all of me. And it's not even so much cognitive. It's that, like, I'm really excited. I'm excited anyways because I love what I'm doing. I love teaching baby massage classes. But now I'm getting paid $150, so that makes it even more fun for me. So I'm really going to be excited, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And do you know what? When we're not discounting something, when we're really valuing it, do you know what? The people that have the money, the people that will value what you present, they can see it. They can find it. But when you keep bargain basementing, discounting, making it free so somebody would just friggin' show up so you wouldn't feel like a loser, they won't see it. They can't find it. They're like, I don't read flyers that come in the mail. I don't go to the Walmart. I don't do bargain basement. I don't go to sales. I go to Neiman Marcus. I go to the high end. That's what I choose. My body deserves the best.
Absolutely.
My body deserves the best. I only wear the best jewels, the sexiest clothes. I live my life fully and completely, and I'm willing to pay for it. Exactly. Well, if those are the types of clients you desire to have, and those are the types of homes you in, show up.
Yeah. And also, I think what I'm aware of there, too, is that you need to be that energy as well. Because if you're being the desperation energy, if you're being like, oh, please, 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 somebody take my class. Come on, I just need one, and then I'll pay my bills. Like, I'll just need one. Come on. That you're not being the same energy of like, I'm sorry, but I have the best because I honor my body, and I shop at Neiman Marcus. And so you're right. Like, how are they going to find you if that's not energetically, your energy is not matching that? You're not.
Exactly.
You're doing bargain basement. They're doing Neiman Marcus.
Yeah.
Right?
It's super, super important that you really start with you and you and your product and you and your service. And sometimes it's getting quiet with it. It's asking questions. And maybe it's even working with somebody to facilitate. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's what really is true for you and what you're offering. And it's really tapping into that. When you start from looking outside of you at what everybody else is doing, you will, and I can guarantee it, mark it down. You will start to discount it over and over again. And how much are you discounting that is actually saying in the world, because I keep dropping the price? Would you ever ask Petrina, ever go to Gary or Douglas and say, could you, Gary Douglas or Dane here, would you ever go to them and ask them to give you a discount?
Yeah, no.
Would you ever expect that, some of the amazing people, the amazing creators in the world, would you ever ask them to discount or lower the price because you can't pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
They would laugh. They'd be like,
right.
No? Do you know what this is? This is Fava. Do you know what this is? This is a Petrina Fava.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah. And even that word discount, right? Like discount in terms of money, but also discount as in like disregard.
Exactly. That's what
right?
I was
Discounting something. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
and when you're talking about...
Everyone needs a plaque. Everyone needs a plaque. This is a Christine McIver. This is a Petrina Fava.
Do you know what this is?
Oh, no, you didn't.
But, I think the thing is, too, that there are people out there that are willing to pay for what you bring to the table. There are people, because all you have to do is look at how people shop, right? People are willing to spend $400 on a purse. People are willing to spend $400 on a, pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. Right? Like people do it all the time. So where did you get that point of view that they're not willing to spend $400 on a class of yours? Or
did you
right?
Get it from the fact that you to?
The fact that what? Sorry?
Do you not value you enough that you would spend $400 on a pair of shoes for your beautiful feet? If you have the point of view that, $20 shoes are fine, is that how you show up in the world?
Exactly. So yeah, that's exactly. So is that your point of view, and who did you buy that from? And then are you projecting that point of view out there for everyone while trying to ask for $400 for your class?
It doesn't match. If it doesn't match, if your energy doesn't match what you're asking for, they will quote unquote smell it. And they'll smell what? They won't be able to choose it, even if the price is, if that price is a match to them. If your energy is off with it, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to choose it. So are you resonating with your own choices, your own valuing, how you value you, and then how you value your products? If you're someone that would no longer, if you're someone that would never pay for something that's more than $50, if you wouldn't get a massage for more than $50 because Betty down the street will do it for $25, how are you going to turn around and charge $75 for what you're doing? Because you have the energy of less than, you've got the lack energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are down to less than 4 minutes, so we've just had a really exciting, great conversation about knowing your worth. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you got coming up in the world, Christine?
Oh, my gosh. I have a few things. Yes, thank you, Petrina. This Thursday, I'm starting a 5 days to change. You can choose 5 days, or you can choose 1, 2, or 5. Anyways, there's 3 classes: Bars, Foundation, and Level 1. And I'm doing that here in the Toronto area, Mississauga, where I live now, in my beautiful goddess home. I love it. And so I'll be doing that. And then starting in January, I have a course called Beyond the BS Business Class. And it is all about your business, how you can expand it and seriously move beyond the bullshit and the frills and the nice to haves, and really get the foundation so you can just spring into 2016 with a solid foundation and structure and have fun with it. And I'm working with a friend of mine. We're doing a little creation, Rhonda Burns. You're going to be hearing more about that very, very shortly. But it's really around this whole energy of what we were talking about today, Petrina. So I'm excited to talk about it when it comes more to fruition.
Cool. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I also have a bars class coming up this week in Toronto on Wednesday for anyone who's in the area and would be interested in coming to that. I also am busy creating something with someone else as well that's a kind of a right body for you. We're going to look at getting dressed up all cute and sexy and taking some pictures and honoring your body and doing that in the coming year.
Yay! How much fun is that?
How much fun is that going to be? All right, messy adventurers. So,
what are you doing next week, Petrina?
What am I doing next week? Well, I'm not exactly sure yet because it's just a big messy adventure. So I will decide sometime soon, but you can check my Facebook page. You can check my Messy Adventures Facebook page or my Petrina Fava Facebook page and see what I'm up to soon.
Yes, and you can check mine at inspiredchoices.ca or Facebook Inspired Choices Inc.
Awesome. So how much fun can you all have going out there and asking for what you know you're worth, even if it's really uncomfortable? So I challenge you to go out and push past your comfort zone and really ask for what you know you are worth, and talk about what you be more than what you're doing. It's really cool to play with telling people all about the difference that you are and the difference that you be. So thanks for joining us, and we will talk with you again next week on Messy Adventures in Living.
And check out all the other shows on A2Zen.fm. It's a really amazing radio station where there's so many phenomenal people to play with. Who's up next? Playground of Possibility is up next. Woohoo!
Woo! Tamara and Alan.
Thanks for playing with us on Messy Adventures in Living. Petrina Fava will return next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain, and 6 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm. We'd love to have you join us again. Until then, have fun creating your phenomenal life, mess and all.